We are live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Holy Crap, the vlogcast. Vlogcast that comes from a skeptical point of view to answer some of the questions of why. This vlogcast started as a combination of spite and the Streisand effect because people on Facebook don't like it when they're wrong, and we call them out when they are. And we enjoy it. I am your main host. I am known as Shujin all over the place. You can find me under pretty much any social media under that name. Welcome to the show. Let me introduce you to the panel. Starting off at the top left-hand corner of your bingo card tonight, good evening, Dalan, up there in Canada.
Good evening.
Moving to the right, just north of me, also in Canada, good morning, Heretic Woman.
Good morning.
See, the problem is I haven't yet gotten myself a card because I start getting into these rolling things and I need to, I know where everybody is, but I keep forgetting to actually say it. I gotta put a board in front of me to remember all this stuff.
Shall we get you a map? I was going to say.
Dude, you know
what? We could get one of those like high school ones that roll down when you need it.
Oh. Yeah, I'll come to that. Plus, when I get to the 5-minute freestyle, you'll understand why I'm a little off at the moment. Anyway, into the Midwest of the U.S. Good evening, Brigid.
Good evening.
Okay. Just south of me, over into Pittsburgh. Good morning, Joey.
Hey, just made it back in time. Hi, everybody.
Good timing.
Into the armpit of the Capital. Good morning on Renault Tech.
And I smell better than they do.
Yes, he does. Up into the north of England. Good morning, Chris. And your mute button.
Yep.
That would explain why it's not cracking anymore.
Ooh, stuck on the mute. There he is.
Good morning, great to be here again, Shujin.
There we go.
And it helps if I turn the mic on.
Yeah, big time.
If there's one thing we unaffiliated affiliations understand, it's all about equipment issues, don't we? And just south from there, over into Paris. Good morning, Joseph.
Good morning.
All right. So we're going to be going, of course, for the next 2 hours. There's stuff about this particular topic where I'm expecting that we will end up hearing some hate mail and comments from various wonderful friends of the show.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah.
But not from Beth.
No. Beth is a nice person, and Beth is chiming in over on the Q&A. If you are watching,
Beth.
please chime in on the Q&A at any point. We'll be more than happy to investigate anything you've got to talk about. Otherwise, you can contact the show via Twitter at HolyCrapTV, and we'll see what we can do about all that and talk with you guys and chime in about whatever it is because, oh, man, we're going to have a great time. Anyway, as I was mentioning, let me get everything started over here with us with apologies to Noah, Heath, and Lucinda from the Scathing Atheist. Your 5-minute freestyle starts now. Your topic for tonight. Your topic for tonight, as I put, is I'm sorry. Now, I know some people will go ahead and they will say that using the expression I'm sorry is a sign of weakness. And of course, there are all those others that will say I'm sorry is a sign of pride, and it's a sign of strength, that you're strong enough that you can actually say it.
That you're taking from them.
And preferably, you would actually mean it when you say it. Now, there are some people that have... Joe? My time. There are some people that will go ahead and will use the expression, and unfortunately, with the way that English operates so much, it's hard to say something to top that after a while. There's only, as the expression goes, so many times you can say I'm sorry before it feels wrong. Sometimes it's the only thing that you can say. In my case, I would say I'm sorry because I was up late within the last week talking with somebody and discussing a topic and trying to explain. It came down to basically somebody saying, why are you taking the joy out of life from people that want to believe stuff because they find it fun. And that this particular person may be watching at some point, and I want you to know, no one will know who you are. I will never say, and I will not. I will do my very best not to misrepresent anything that was said, and I'm not going to go into any detail about it. But I tried to explain that it comes down to the numbers. It comes down to the percentages. What's more likely, what's less likely. And I had to try to explain that I am actually sorry that I come across sometimes that I'm maybe poo-pooing somebody's fun, as it were. I don't mean to. Because to borrow from, I believe it was Tim Minchin, isn't just this amazing universe enough? Isn't it wondrous enough? Isn't there enough out there that we can forever be captivated by what's happening? There are discoveries all the time by Hubble, which just recently saw a bubble of plasma expanding from a star, being lit up from the inside, a gorgeous piece. And then you've got other wonders where we try to understand how could we have never seen this species of spider before that was under our noses the whole time? How could we have missed bones that have been in curation for 100+ years and not realize what it was that we had, only to find out that there are planets, more specifically stars, that are just traveling in the interstellar void, just out there on a drive somewhere, no idea where they're going or where they came from. Isn't it wonderful to be able to say, I'm sorry that you don't find that as captivating as I do. I'm sorry that you don't see things the way that I do. And I'm sorry that I can't accept the wonder that you claim. Because for me, believe it or not, there is a certain wonder, there is a certain captivation with following these numbers. As I've told my daughter on many an occasion, math is unique in the sciences. It's right or it's wrong. And you can be wrong a myriad, a literal infinite number of ways you can be wrong. But only one way that you can be consistently right. And there's a certain beauty to that to me. I may not be the best at math. Hell, I was constantly harassed by my high school math teacher because I kept screwing up decimal places, of all things. One of the easiest things in the world to do, and I screwed it up consistently. For no other reason other than I was lazy.
The key word is testable.
But what it comes down to, I'm sorry. I am actually sorry if I hurt your feelings because I don't share what you think about things.
Test it.
But, Joseph, I'm sorry that I don't have the same vision that you do. But I actually find wonder in that there are so many different views that can be explored. I enjoy it, and that's exactly the reason why this show is the way that it is. I love learning all that there is from everybody else.
Me too.
This is episode 112 on the docket, Your Honor. Holy, I can't believe sometimes that we're actually into the triple digits. I know I keep looking at it. I keep looking every time I'm putting stuff together. I'm like, wow, we're over 100. I know we passed it a while ago, but wow, triple digits, that's actually pretty cool. We're going to be talking about...
It, of course, means that we just have no life.
Well, that plus we've got a goal, which is to roll the odometer at some point or other. You know all about rolling odometers, don't you, there, Joseph?
Look,
Oh.
I beg your pardon.
You just had to go there, didn't you?
Not only have I never bought a car that didn't already have the odometer rolled, but just for good measure, I've had several cars where I've rolled the odometer, the steering wheel, the seats, and the chassis a couple times.
Safety belt.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, it would have
Actually,
been...
hold on. I have to correct myself. Again, not a roll. It was a flip. Roll is side over side. This was front over end.
Otherwise known as ass over tea kettle.
Yeah, no, took the words out of my mouth.
There you go. So, we're going to be talking about the proverbial David and Goliath scenario. And I intentionally stayed away from using that before because I didn't want to use it for... You'll find out why in a couple of moments. Speaking of part of this, I was going looking. I haven't found anything in the in my news feeds or anything, or the official actual news feeds. But Heretic Woman, at this point, I have no new information on Rafe Badawi. Do you have any information currently?
No, I don't. Unfortunately, though, I do have other news. There was a English professor hacked to death in Bangladesh today.
Yep.
And ISIS is claiming responsibility. The frickin' English professor, like, seriously. So, we can tick off another one on that unfortunate list as well.
From what I read, he wasn't like Rafe Badawi. You know, he didn't go online and he didn't post a whole lot of things. It was just apparently apparently he talked to the wrong person or said something in front of somebody else, and some of his views became known, and because of that, he was targeted. This was apparently not a man who was a activist or anything like that. Apparently, he just kind of like in Russia, where there were two men who were beaten within inches of their lives and then turned over to the police for suspecting to be gay because they were walking within 1 foot of each other. Yeah. And somebody thought they were holding hands at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, yeah, let's...
Yeah. So, with this current episode, this now makes it 3 years, 10 months, 7 days since Rafe Badawi was unjustly incarcerated for thought crime. Our thoughts and hopes are still with you and your family.
Yeah.
And the others in your situation, too.
And anyone in Bangladesh who's halfway sane.
Yeah.
True that. True that.
To all the sane people out there, we feel you.
Yeah. Is it 8 now in the last year or so?
You know what? The number is more than 0.
5, according to this from Reuters, 5 bloggers, a publisher, and now the professor in the last year.
You know, this is just religion in all its forms trying to silence reason.
Yep.
Dictate.
Yep.
Dictate is right. Oh, and I did want to give a shout out to our dear friend Miss Ashley, who's going through a bit of a rough go at the moment, and I know she'll probably turn this on tomorrow or the next day, so everybody's thinking about you, my dear.
What? Explain?
Sorry?
Hang in there.
What's going on with Ashley?
Her mom might be dying.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, she's in the hospital, and we're on top of all of that. Family is being very last rites-ish kind of thing about it all. So
she's got an aunt in her face that's like, "Is your mom saved? Are you sure?" And that kind of crap.
I have a perfect response to that. Of course she's saved. That's why she has a will.
I had a very similar situation to that
Ouch.
a couple of years ago, and
Yeah, and it's interesting because I don't know if any of you guys listen to No Religion Required, but they have a friend of the show, Alex Mareshi, who's actually is a pastor, but he tends to hang out more with atheist folk. He's actually there, and has been trying to run interference between the believing family and the non-believing family. So,
Wow.
good on him for he was just on the show like last week. So good on him for jumping into the middle of it all.
Yeah,
So
that's my kind of preacher.
exactly.
Compartmentalization.
Exactly, yes. But he's down there trying to help with the whole situation, so that's good. And
Anyway, good on him.
and the Mailies are there, and Human showed up unexpectedly, so they're in good hands.
So it's good to know that the family of choice is out there and helping out. So
Absolutely.
any of you guys that might be watching even after the fact, thank you. And yes, Ashley, our thoughts are with you. And as I put on Facebook, given the opportunity, were I there, I would gladly be trying to run interference for you.
Oh, hell yeah.
Any of us would.
I think, though, having chatted with Ashley a little while ago, I think she's got it handled from here on out.
Yeah, if I were there, couldn't even really call it interference. The only thing I could call it would be an iron wall.
Yeah.
Yes, but see, there's a difference. I understand that you need to be very watchful of, what's the word that's usually used? Witnesses?
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Exactly my point. So here's the deal with the topic for tonight. Last week, and this had happened just a little bit before we went to do our show, but it had happened after I put out the topic. The Thinking Atheist Facebook page suddenly disappeared.
Went dark.
It went bye-bye. It was gone. It was no longer there. Seth Andrews' own personal page was also gone. JT Eberhardt and who was the other one? And Sarah Moorhead's pages also piff. Don't know what happened. There was no real word other than complaints, community guidelines, and maybe we'll reinstate you if you make a good case. But without knowing what the complaint was, there's no way of really knowing.
Well, Seth was able to get to the bottom of that.
Yes. However, before we even get to that, we have seen, on occasion, and again, this is kind of tying back to the thing, we have seen the numbers. We have seen this not be an isolated incident where some have forwarded complaints, I want to say erroneously.
Mm-hmm.
I think, however, it would be much more accurate to say
Maliciously.
Thank you. And intentionally get people knocked off, DMCA takedown notices, complaints, community guideline takedown notices, shut down through whatever means possible just because.
See, there was something that I wanted to bring up on our other show a few times, actually, that is very similar to this, and it's this trend that's been picking up in the last few years, and it's called swatting.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's also
Yes.
illegal. Just so our viewers know, this is an actual illegal tactic.
Yeah. Now this is a much more serious purview than, say, lying about something and getting somebody's Facebook or website taken down. For essentially, it's when somebody who just out of pure maliciousness decides to take the personal information of, say, a YouTuber, a vlogcaster, whatever, however they manage to get that information.
Which, actually, believe it or not, is relatively easy in today's online society.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's the motivation there?
Well, there's the problem. What is the motivation?
Yeah.
What they
I
do-
feel
All right,
threatened.
hold on. Here's one really simple for people to get for an example for what's the motivation. Here's the motivation of a young adult who decided that he didn't like the fact that somebody else was better than him than an online game. So he figured out where that person
How
lived
do you
and called the
define
police.
better?
He beat him. Got a higher score.
Yeah.
Got better gear.
essentially, what happens is somebody gets the personal information of either a gamer that they've played against, or, for example, an online gamer who puts it up on stream, Twitch, YouTube, whatever. They call
So
their
they
local.
have a grudge.
They then call that person's local police, and then
Yep.
report them for having, for example, I believe it was a 15-year-old who did this, called up the police of one particular gamer and pretended that they were them, reported to the police that they had just killed their parents and that they were going to kill more people.
Yep.
And, not to come to the house because they were armed. A few minutes later, a SWAT team shows up at that person's house, breaches their home,
Yep.
and, takes them into custody at gunpoint while they're still on stream.
Yep.
Assuming that they didn't shoot first and ask questions later.
Well, there's a guy on YouTube. I'll watch a video if the topic interests me, called Mundane Matt.
Yep. I saw that one.
And he got swatted about 2-3 weeks ago. And he was kicking himself because he was in the middle of doing a video when it happened, but he said for some reason he hadn't actually initialized the video, so he only had audio. But he played the audio. He was kind of embarrassed because it scared the shit out of the guy. So he was just like, like, okay, like really obviously terrified. But, wow, like, and the person that
Know
swatted.
how to deal with the situation. It's normal that you're terrified.
Well, exactly, and the person that swatted him told the police that he had 2 children hostage and had a bomb. Of course the police are gonna go ape shit over that.
It is essentially
Because they don't know how to deal with the situation either.
somebody
No.
that it is essentially somebody that has a grudge,
Yeah.
and has no fucking backbone to back it up themselves. So what they do is they do what they consider to be a harmless thing by, I guess they look at it as, a hired gun for free by, contacting the authorities, who then show up at this person's house with guns with practically no explanation.
Mm-hmm.
And not only is this incredibly dangerous to the SWAT team and the family, because, for example, the person that gets, hell, if I get swatted, I have guns. I am armed. I have registered guns, and the police would know that.
Yep.
And so
That would be a bad day at your house.
it is entirely potential that I could end up getting shot, even if I'm not even holding.
Yeah.
And so, not only is this incredibly dangerous to both parties, but it's also massively damaging to both.
Oh yeah.
Because
And even then, if you think of somebody who lives in an apartment building or something, so let's say they get swatted, and the people that are in the building complain to the landlord or the management company, it doesn't matter that they didn't do anything wrong. If now they're like, well, you've had the SWAT team there, yeah, we're evicting you.
Yeah. Or you want to talk about inconveniencing one person in the same scenario, who knows? The police might end up having everyone from that building evacuated before continuing.
Exactly.
And now you've inconvenienced 50, 100 people that weren't even involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to mention you're inconveniencing thousands more, because quite literally you are wasting tax dollars that go to being able to provide this emergency service.
Yep.
It wastes hundreds of thousands of dollars every time because of the equipment that needs to be deployed, the time that goes into it. It's stupid.
Yeah, the resources and planning that go into keeping track of these things and plotting out for the next time something comes up. What do you do when it comes up? See, this is an extension of what used to be considered a simple prank of, hey, I want to get out of class today. How about I go and I pull the fire alarm?
When I was in first year university during what was my first set of midterms, someone actually phoned a bomb threat into the school during midterms, and my friends and I, it was at 3:30 in the afternoon, and my friends and I were down in the TV lounge watching General Hospital, because that's what we did at 3:30 when we didn't have class. And it scared the shit out of us, because they came down, the staff from the residence came down and were like, you need to leave right now. We're like, what are you talking about? And this was in March, so it was still damn cold outside. They wanted us to leave without coats or anything, and we're like, no, we're stopping in our room and getting a bloody coat, and we had to leave our residence. So, I'm like 18 years old. Everything that I personally own is in that room. And, I have my coat and my purse. And luckily my friend, our roommates had a car, and we were able to drive to the mall down the street. And we had to sit in that mall for like 5 or 6 hours while they swept the entire campus. And this is the University of Waterloo. It's a big campus. They had to sweep the entire campus with dogs and the whole 9 yards because some idiot didn't want to write their midterm and phoned in a bomb threat. And nowadays, it would be like, this was in 1990. You can imagine what it would be like now.
Actually, we don't have to. There's a real-world example just a couple of years ago in Chicago. And I forget which FurCon it was, but yes, say whatever you want to, have your giggles, have your laugh, good, you're done, good, fine. Let's get to the serious part. Chlorine gas.
Oh, yeah, that was only...
I remember this.
That was just a year ago.
A year and a half.
Yeah.
But how did Simon Le Bon use it on the air? Some wanker decided that it would be cute to set off a chemical reaction, a basic chlorine gas bomb in a stairwell in a hotel packed with convention goers, some of whom had to be attended to for, inhalation, and it's bad. Hold on a second, though. Brigid, chlorine gas. Chlorine gas does nasty things to the villi, as I recall. Yes.
Oh, yes, it does.
And even a very simple homespun chemical device, could that qualify under, what's the word I'm looking for, deadly for mass people?
That would be extremely deadly. Chlorine gas would kill you within a matter of a couple of minutes.
So, yeah.
And it has been used in warfare, so there you go.
Yeah, and if not, it can leave very unpleasant injuries. I just took a moment to do a couple of searches on the swatting thing. The other thing is, in the US, they treat it as it's been treated previously by the courts as domestic terrorism.
Yep.
And people have ended up with 25 to life. And because it's a terrorism thing, some of these ones have sentences have been applied to minors, to like 15-year-olds.
Yeah.
So it's really, really a bad idea. I did hear one guy, an incident of one person who inadvertently swatted themselves.
Oh, jeez.
Oops.
How do you do that?
This was they had a bad setback in an online game, and were quite disappointed. And were having an argument with a representative of the publishing company on there, and said, they were really depressed and were going to kill themselves.
Oh.
At which point, obviously, the company pulled their real details and forwarded it to Interpol.
Oh, no.
Within like 90 minutes or something, the police were. This was someone who was resident in the US. The police were opening their door with a shotgun to find them like passed out, like drunk.
Oh, no. And were they like saying, "Oh, I'm gonna," like, were they saying it as sort of a manipulative tactic, like if you don't restore?
They were. It was basically what was taken. They had to take it in good faith as a genuine suicide.
Oh, of course, yeah. Correct. And then they find the guy passed out. They probably thought that they overdosed, and oh man.
Yeah, no.
See, now when
just drunk and sleeping it off.
When I was a bad girl in university, we used to like send pizzas and airport or transits to people. Like that was as bad as, or prank calls, but that was taxis. We used to send taxis to people too at 4 a.m. and tell them to honk the horn.
That sort of thing, that was immaturity pranks. Okay.
Yeah.
The stuff that the mainline foundation of tonight's show is not about pranks. It's about people who cannot handle an opposing opinion or stance, or
it's about silencing.
The very fact that somebody might even be right, or they might be wrong. Doesn't matter.
Like the main person that I remember we used to do that to was actually the warden of residences in our residence college, and the guy was just an ass, and that's why we did it. So it wasn't like, we didn't like his opinion or that. And of course, this was long before blogging or anything like that, but it had nothing to do with what he was trying to say or silencing. It was all about, you're an ass, so we're gonna prank you.
Yeah. Now the reason why, I'm sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Well, I was just going to say, if your argument is so weak that you have to resort to not necessarily a matter of force, but a matter of sabotage, maybe it's time to leave the debate.
Yeah.
Now, they don't see it that way.
Now, see, you're using reason, Joey. You're using logic. And at work, I've been told you can't logic your way out of things anymore.
All right. So let me explain why I let this particular area go through. Because what we're talking about at this point, as Tech properly put, is not the meat of what we're going to be talking about. I wanted to make sure that we kind of filled in that piece to say, okay, this is stuff that is real world. This is person to person or person to small group. But it's much more into the prank category. Yeah. Now, I'm using it very broadly at the moment, but it still kind of qualifies under there. There's no true malicious intent. With swatting, you can easily make that there is, but it's really a borderline case here. What I'm talking about is, what we're going to end up talking about at this point, is where it's legally lying in order to shut somebody up, no matter the cost, which usually would be, 5 years in prison, thousands of dollars worth of fines, shutdown of your YouTube accounts, for instance, having to come across the border from Canada into the U.S. because DMCA is kind of frowned on when you use it wrong. Perjury, I believe, is the legal term that's used.
Yep. They have a lot of problems with the DMCA thing on YouTube right now. One of my guilty pleasures, when I have a few minutes that I want to watch a short video is I'll sometimes watch a video that talks about all of the drama going on YouTube at the moment, and it's a big problem, because of the way the DMCA is set up, and it's partly, I think, YouTube's fault, and it's partly the way the law is written, where if somebody makes a claim, it's like you're guilty until proven innocent. So the way YouTube handles it is if somebody makes a claim, they automatically restrict the channel in question until there's a process. So the person who's being accused has to refute that, and yada. And from what I understand, until you have over 100,000 subscribers, you don't even get to talk to YouTube.
And the other thing to add on to that many of the production companies for music, what they'll do is they'll have an automated system that goes and samples the different videos that have any words in the title that could be possibly related to their songs that they have the rights to. And if there is even a little bit remote chance that it sounds alike, according to their algorithms, it sends an automated notice to YouTube. It doesn't even need, they just set it. It's like the Ronco rotisserie. They set it and
forget it.
Now, with something like that, an automated system, there's going to be problems with that, simply because you give it specific parameters, and well, there's going to be stuff that you're going to get when you cast out a big enough net.
Yep.
That there's going to be problems. It's just the nature of the beast, unfortunately so.
Well, and what they're seeing happening on YouTube is that if two content creators get into a dispute, one of them will DMCA the other one, and it's a time thing. Like, it can take upwards of 2 weeks for YouTube to process the rebuttal, and then if they want to be a real dick, they'll reinstate their claim even if the rebuttal comes through, so that the other person has to go through yet another process. And especially if those are monetized channels that people are trying to make a living off of, it can really set them back a lot. And I've seen it happening to a number of, I know a couple of times now, like I don't watch Drunken Peasants, but I know of them, and I've noticed a couple of times where they've been DMCA'd. So that means their whole channel is live streaming. If you've got a claim, you lose your ability to live stream. So a lot of content creators are creating second and third backup channels because they're now just expecting people to erroneously DMCA strike them, and it's getting really out of hand. And even when the companies that are doing it, like say they've cast their AutoNet, there's something called fair use, which means that if you are using clips of another video or parts of a song or whatever in I believe it's an educational way, or you're critiquing it or something on that way, you are absolutely allowed to use that, no questions asked. And even though, and I've seen content creators put disclaimers at the front of their video, it doesn't matter because the process on YouTube is automatic. No one looks at the front of your video to see, oh, you're making a fair use declaration. No one cares because it's an automatic thing. Somebody files a claim, boom, you're restricted until you prove otherwise.
And by the way, one second. I do also want to make sure that the third piece of that was also parody. You're supposed to be allowed to get away with that one. Just wanted to flesh.
Thank you.
All right, Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, there's a whole slew of these exemptions, including the parody, as I was going to bring up as well. Something very simple that would stop this would be, particularly if it's companies sending mass numbers of these DMCA requests, would be for them to be fined for every false allegation they make.
They should.
What
yeah.
they are doing is making a false allegation
Yeah.
through not doing their own due diligence. And if it costs them, say, $5,000 for each one, that would then make it worth paying someone to
But
check.
I think when this whole thing first started up, I think when it all first started up, there was something happened that set a precedent at YouTube that made it so that this is the procedure they have to follow because they're legally bound now. I can't remember the entire history of it, but it was a very stupid move on YouTube to pursue it this way, and it set a precedent, which has now opened the floodgates to where it is now. And correct me if I'm wrong, you might know this more than me, Heretic Woman, but in the event, while you're in the middle of, say, defending against a DMCA takedown, if you counterclaim, the person that originated the original takedown could actually be in worse trouble if it's found out that you're exonerated.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's a whole lot of follow-up on that happening, if any, because the ones that seem to be abusing the system are really getting away with it.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's kind of a real, pain in the ass is you can only dispute 3 claims at a time. So if somebody wants to be a real dick and they make 6 claims on you, you can only work through 3 at a time. So your channel could be restricted for months, and there's a strike and a takedown, which are 2 different things. So a strike means that they're restricting your channel and they're restricting access to the video in question. A takedown means that the person making the claim has made a higher severity claim, and YouTube has taken your video down in the interim. And if you have 3 takedowns, they will toast your channel.
Yeah.
And to go along with that, 2 other pieces. One, if memory serves, anything beyond those 3 that you have active on the board, shall we say, anything above and beyond that is an automatic hit.
Yeah.
That's just the dickishness side of it all. And Pongo, who is chiming in over in the Q&A,
Hi, Pongo.
I'm pretty sure has got the correct full list at this point.
Yeah.
Now, I think because I'm not well enough versed in law, but going by what he's saying, I believe this is the full list for U.S. copyright law. Quote, parody, satire, commentary, educational, and commentary/evaluation are the exceptions in copyright law, where you would be allowed to utilize pieces of someone else's work to show them off, and news commentary, right.
Yeah, I guess you can lump it together.
He's also mentioning the Bible Reloaded, and that's another one that I've noticed a number of times. So I actually just noticed today that they had a new chick track up on their Quran Reloaded channel and I assume because they've gotten another strike on the Bible Reloaded side, which is
for example, for anybody that's confused, the way Weird Al does his music, parody, perfectly legal. If you've ever watched that guy with the glasses, or the Nostalgia Critic, or Cinema Sins, for example, they review movies on YouTube, but they don't show the whole movie, and they're commenting on it. They're giving it a review, so that also is all right. When you go ahead and take an entire movie, post it up on YouTube, and it's just a movie, no.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, Al specifically goes and asks for permission first. He is not required by U.S. law. He does it because he's a gentleman about it, and he respects the people. As a matter of fact,
if he gets turned down, I believe he will not do the parody if they say no, I don't want you to.
Well, he has still written stuff and performed live, but has not recorded and sold. which is a different piece also.
He had two questionable cases, and the first one was with whatever that rapper guy's name is, the one with all the weird thing.
Amish Power Paradise was the song.
Right, and that was
Coolio.
because he didn't do a direct communication with Coolio. It was his management team that talked to Coolio's management team, and Weird Al's team came back and said, yeah, it's okay, but they didn't get Coolio's permission. They got the Coolio's management's permission. So that's why, and Weird Al was so good about it, he actually issued an apology to Coolio. The other one was with what's her face,
Lady Gaga, and it was it was the same scenario but backwards, where her production people said no, but she actually said yes.
Well, at first she said no too. At first she went with the production team's opinion of no, and then Madonna paid her a visit. Suddenly that no became a yes.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is, again, this isn't the piece that we're going to end up talking about. Again, we're filling in the other pieces of the puzzle. Now that you've got all those into place, let me tell you about the pieces that had been happening. As was mentioned, the Bible Reloaded. They intentionally talked about a TV series. I know it doesn't come across on audio, but I shiver thinking about it. Bible Man. If you try to imagine if Ed Wood had tried to do Batman, but with Oprah's Book of the Month Club,
You gotta show him Joey's face.
Yeah,
I have seen this.
it's horrific. It truly does qualify as horrifically bad.
Let me put it this way: for anybody who has ever seen, what was the Jay and Silent Bob movie? Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back. The scene where they walk onto the movie theater or the movie production studio, and they've got Mark Hamill there dressed up as a gimmicky supervillain.
Yeah.
That's more serious than that shit.
Well, considering that Mark Hamill also portrayed not just the Joker, but the Trickster, yeah, I get that. Anyway, the point of it is, did the guys at Bible Reloaded follow the rules? From what I've seen, and I'm sure several of us who've seen their stuff, they did. They did it the way that they're supposed to. They followed the rules, and they did it. And they were still hit maliciously. Thinking Atheist, Seth Andrews. I've been lucky enough several years ago, I got the opportunity of talking with Seth about Christmas a couple of years ago. He is a consummate professional. He was one of the most genteel people I've ever talked to, and the thought, although it may or may not have been borne out, was that his channel webpage, the Facebook page, was flooded with complaints from Christians who decided we're just going to go ahead and flood Facebook with complaints about it for hate speech or whatever else. And because it's Seth's, it hit Seth too. And JT and Sarah, since they were moderators basically on the page, they got incidentally hit too. Now, there are a number of web pages, Facebook pages in particular, that have had this happen to them, where a sudden mass complaints go out for no other reason other than they have a differing opinion and they don't like it. There's a photo meme of ironic Willy Wonka who's basically saying, oh, you go to a atheist web page and you don't like what they're talking about, so you complain about them. Who went where again? You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it happened to Atheist Republic last year. They got turfed, and they have something like 50,000 members on their page.
Yeah,
it happened to Faisal Al-Mukhtar's.
Faisal? Yep.
Yeah, Faisal's. It happened to his globalist humanist initiative.
Yep.
And everybody affiliated with that page, and it took down dozens, if not hundreds, of people.
Yeah, and Thinking Atheist, 200,000 plus. So this is not an isolated thing. It happened on many occasions. And again, going by what we've seen happen in the past, this is something that happens. The Million Mom March is just a bunch of people that said, we're just going to go ahead and complain about something as a group. Okay.
The funny part is there's not even a million of them.
No, there's like 1,300.
They actually filed. They were trying to file and get a program shut down called Lucifer, a television story that's actually based off the Sandman comics. Mm-hmm. And because the reason why they were so upset in their explanation was that they felt that they didn't properly depict Lucifer according to the Bible. And it's like, well, wait a minute. If they didn't like that, why didn't they try to shut down that Keanu Reeves one where he played Constantine? Why didn't they try to shut that one down? Oh, well, because it was a story about a guy fighting on, God's love and all. Oh, I see what it is. Their big
complaint with it is apparently the fact that on that TV show, Lucifer, he is considered a good guy.
Yeah.
A sympathetic character?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no, he's actually... Okay.
He's fighting against predetermination and predestination.
Yeah. The issue with him for the show is not that, you can sympathize with him, but rather he's actively working with the protagonists.
Gotcha. Okay. So here's the deal. We've said before that if you go by, again, going by the numbers, census numbers effectively tell us, Pew Research tells us that the by title, by name, by specific atheist, non-believer group qualifies for approximately, globally, 10% of the population. Now, I'm fudging numbers a lot, but I want to give it just a simple number for a second. Roughly 10%. It's higher in some countries than others, which would be really nice because they're looking at getting rid of all combustion engines so that you can have renewable sources. But that's a whole other thing for later. We'll talk about the Scandinavian area later.
Yeah, damn those socialist hellholes.
Yeah, don't you hate that? But the point of it is,
how do you really feel?
Well, here's how I really feel. Why does the other 90%, roughly, feel that it's necessary to use the law instead of arguments to... You know what? Hold on a second. Let me springboard off of something Pongo put. Quote, "The DMCA strikes are a form of censorship."
Yep.
No. They're not. They're bullying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they are. They are intimidation. They are bitch slapping in a legal method without even considering what the ultimate retribution would be if somebody said, you know what? I've got the money to pursue you legally for having done this because it's a legal thing that you just did. I'm going to put your ass in a sling. And how amazing would it be if there was a fund for exactly that kind of thing? Go ahead, Dal.
I was just going to say,
didn't they?
Like what Brigid said. Brigid, you said something about David Silverman earlier in chat?
Yeah.
Yes, when there were all these pages that were deactivated a few months ago, David Silverman and the American Atheist website's Facebook pages were shut down, and he threatened to sue Mark Zuckerman, and they got reinstated very quickly after that.
I could see David doing that, yes.
He did, and it worked. Within 2 days, he had his page profile back, and it took the other people about 4 or 5 days to get theirs reinstated.
Yeah, David likes to play hardball.
He does.
That's why I like the guy.
And Seth got his back in one just because between his amenable demeanor and his fan base on top of it, it was pretty easy for him to convince Facebook to do the right thing.
But Seth's was a small scale compared to, what happened several months ago with this. It was so many people that it hit Twitter, and that's how people found out about it. Twitter blew up.
Yeah.
Because it was hundreds of people that were targeted.
Yeah.
And it was a coordinated attack.
And there's been spates, too, in the last couple of years of just regular atheist people on Facebook being targeted for having, quote, fake names. So Cash was targeted several times. I was targeted. That's why I use my maiden name on my Facebook now, because I used to go by No Deity, because originally I was just going to have it as a messing around account so I could just go yell at Christians when I felt like it. So I didn't put a name on it, and it lasted 3 months, and somebody ratted me out for having a fake name, and so I eventually had to send a copy of my birth certificate to Facebook in order to get the damn account back. And that's why I use my maiden name, because that's what's on that particular ID. So screw you, Facebook. Both my accounts have legal names.
Yeah, and that's a policy of Facebook's, which for yourself, Deborah, so that's a minor thing and annoying. Right?
Yes.
The fact that Facebook is such an integral communication tool and business tool for a lot of people. When it comes to things like people that are involved in activism in, say, third world countries, and they may not be safe. It may not be safe, to use their real names and details.
Exactly.
And other things is people like members of the LGBT community. It may not be safe for them to use their real names and details on Facebook.
Case in point, my niece now has a Facebook in her actual gender, but she is not completely out in the real world. Her workplace is very male dominated, so she doesn't feel comfortable revealing herself at this time. So she has her original Facebook as a man, and she has her true self on Facebook, but she doesn't obviously broadcast that, oh, look, I have, a Facebook as my true self now. So, it's not safe for a lot of people. I mean, for me, I didn't want to lose that account, because at that point I had something like 1,400 friends on it, and I hadn't started doing the show yet, but it had got to the point where I made a lot of connections and things on that account that I didn't want to give it up. Now, if I didn't have my birth certificate in my maiden name, I would have been faced with either completely fabricating ID or losing the account. And that would be a crap. I mean, for somebody who is, LGBT, who needs to, stay somewhat in the closet, that's a pretty nasty choice to have to make. And Facebook's been called out on that because of the issue with transgender identities, because they've had I've heard stories of malicious relatives going, oh, well, that's not a real name, and reporting their relative because, hey, that's not the gender I think you should be, so I'm going to report you for being fake. And that's just ridiculous too. And there are family members that would do that shit.
And the request they request that you send them like your passport, driver's license, and other things. Is I first came across this when I tried to log in from a different location, on Facebook, and for some reason it had a massive bug with it. I wouldn't accept my normal details. But I thought there's no way I'm sending my driver's license off to a fucking social networking site. And for me, that was just a matter of like personal privacy and not wanting to have my driver's license like held unnecessarily. But for other people, that's a much more serious issue. Another group that's affected is anyone involved in, say, adult entertainment in any way, because there's many areas where they may be conducting their business legally, but they may be on the fringes of certain laws involving advertising that Facebook could be classed as. And so they don't want to be sending off their personal details to Facebook and have those held on a server which is then accessible by law enforcement.
Well, now, the only thing, when I did it, Facebook said specifically that once they confirm my identity that they would destroy the file. Now, do I believe that? No. But that's what they said they would do. So at least if it came out that they had not, then I could at least say, hey, this right here says... But
yeah, but is that just a Facebook policy, but that may just be a Facebook policy rather than a legal requirement to do so on there, because anyone handling, so I'm more familiar with this over here in the UK, but anyone handling personal details under things like our Data Protection Act over here, there's all kinds of requirements for document storage, retention, keeping copies of what you've got for certain periods.
We have them in our country too.
I don't know exactly how the requirements mesh, but so if you send anything over here, then you have to go through a specific written process to get documents removed, and there's still some cases where they can be retained. So I didn't trust Facebook with that either.
Yeah. There's this one piece that Brigid had just reminded me of, and yes, quite right. As a matter of fact, it was one of those items I was just thinking about. Bridge, go ahead, tell everybody about that one, because I thought that one was particularly delicious.
Which one, about R and Raw? Yeah, Facebook called him out on the real name policy and asked him to verify his identity, so he sent a copy of his Wikipedia page.
Which has got his picture on it and everything.
He actually told that story at dinner the other week, actually.
Wow. Now, Pongo has also put into the Q&A a couple of pieces that are disjointed, so I got to kind of track down one of the other ones. He had said, and I don't know how much truth there is to this one, it's another one of these situations where it's believable, but I don't have anything to back it up just yet. But talking about these false DMCAs, Kit Hovind's organization is responsible for a lot of them, as well as Answers at Genesis, which is Ken Ham's. Now, that's the first part of it. I don't have anything to corroborate that with at the moment, but to the best of my recollection, I have also heard this one, and I do believe that I have seen reports of this. I don't have that to go off of at the moment, so I'm going to say, for the time being, we'll take that one with a grain of salt. However, this particular one is one that was very interesting to me. Quote, Ray Comfort 2, also Pat Robertson, and Nephilim Free.
Oh, long time fan of the show.
Hi, Nephilim.
Howdy.
So we here at Holy Crap the Vlogcast are rather familiar with Nephilim Free. We have heard from him on several occasions. Ergo, I have no problem with reminding people, if you don't remember who Nephilim Free is, he is the Lunar Bukkake theist.
Yeah.
He's the one that believes that
the originator of that theory.
Yes, he's the one that believes that poor whales got ejected from the water when the water of the flood launched at transorbital velocity, escape velocity from the Earth, and landed on the faces of the moon, causing the craters.
Yeah.
And then
Makes
said
about as
water
much
then
sense.
rebounded back and created the flood.
That makes about as much sense as putting two whales in a tank on a starship with no conceivable way for them to breathe. Look that one up. Kids.
Oh, but we also can't forget.
Wellsiak, if anybody remembers that reference.
Yeah, well, what we have to remember, too, though, is that, the evidence for that particular claim, it's right there. It's the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, because that's where the Earth split open and barfed forth all that water that created the comets, that created the craters, that eventually rounded back down and created the flood.
Yeah. And so the minute all of that water gushed out, that's when the molten core ignited, right?
I guess.
I think I'm losing IQ points at this point.
Let's translate this into how we would think about it. People who believe that you can launch water a la super soakers into orbit and beyond to hit the moon believe that they know best what should and should not be on the internet. I think I've pretty well nailed that one, though. That's pretty much it.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but once it gets high enough in the atmosphere, doesn't it turn to, like, ice, basically?
Well, exactly. That's why it created. That's how it created the comets that created the craters, right?
Oh, so giant snowballs.
Yeah.
Sarcasm is so thick right now, I could cut it with, like, a knife.
It all depends on how fast it's moving and, like, the temperatures and the...
So, does that mean you could find Frosty the Snowman up there, too?
Oh, no, he would turn to ice.
Well,
Okay,
I mean, there are all
Frosty the
those
Iceman.
frozen, like, comets and chunks of ice out in the Oort cloud and the Kuiper belt.
So
and those are obviously bits from the splashback, or from the bits that missed the moon.
Okay, because like once they get up there and they hit, they would like fall off and fall, like giant hail. Ding!
Well, over the course of 6,000 years being in the sun, obviously it boils off. I mean, obviously.
If anybody wants to get a bit more of a, if they want to get a couple more earfuls of some really good ribbing, and as well as a whole bunch of science that completely, pardon the pun, blows this theory out of the water. Yeah, sorry. You're right. I'm completely not. Two places that I can recommend. One is a YouTube user named Wildwood Claire. She does a great show called Coffee with Claire. I'm not a geologist, but she makes geology damn interesting, and she loves soccer. Go Germany. And the other one, and this kind of dovetails into the intro to the show, or at least the promo notes that you put out, Shujin. An old series called Why People Laugh at Creationists.
Oh, Thunderfoot.
Yes. Yeah. Who takes on not only takes on Venom Fang X, who was mentioned in the opening.
Yep.
But also puts his crosshairs on good old Neffy and it's a sweet thing.
And Thunderfoot has been targeted very, very viciously. In fact, there was someone named Laughing Witch who tried desperately to get Thunderfoot fired. Like, we're talking doxing, and for people who don't know that. And for people who don't know, doxing is a term that means releasing of the private information. So if you found out, say, where somebody lived or worked or their phone number or that kind of thing and released that, that's called doxing. And she had been she found out where Thunderfoot worked apparently and had been calling his employer and trying to get Thunderfoot fired. And Thunderfoot is in the UK. He's not even in North America, and this witch was trying to get him fired because she doesn't like his opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, this
Over
goes a
here,
little bit.
That I was going to say, over here, that is not likely to work.
Yeah.
No, and it
because
didn't.
of the employment laws we have over here. If he was fired, because someone from the other side of the world phoned up and said they didn't like him, then he would probably be minted in terms of industrial tribunal contribution.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard here in the U.S. it probably would work.
Yeah. Now, there's a bit more to this story, kind of the dark side of trying to go after people. Now, this Laughing Witch person, by the way, this had nothing to do with religion versus atheism. This was...
it's feminism.
Yeah, this was leading more into the stuff that we talk about sometimes off the air. Anyway, Laughing Witch also decided to start a letter-writing campaign to Thunderfoot's employer. And apparently, he's from the UK, but I think he's working in the Czech Republic right now or something.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. So she was so proud of this letter that she wrote. She panned her camera to the monitor. Now get this. So she pans the camera to her monitor and says, "See, there's my real name. Here's what I'm writing. Look at me. I'm so cool."
Yep.
She put her own name out there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And somebody doxed her.
Well, she doxed herself.
Well, yeah, she basically doxed herself.
And the funny part is her, and she was also bragging, saying, "I'm self-employed. I'm the boss. No one can do anything to me." She forgot about a little thing called Yelp. And so their family owned a bathtub restoration company, and people who thought what she was trying to do to Thunderfoot was pretty disgusting went on to her Yelp page and did... now, funny thing is, she's claiming that they bankrupted her, but somebody actually found proof that they were already in the process of filing for bankruptcy. So, and then she went and did a GoFundMe saying, "Oh, Thunderfoot's minions have destroyed our business, and we need," and they put up for $25,000, which happened to be the exact amount of money that they needed to forestall the bankruptcy proceedings that had already started.
Actually, the court records found out about the bankruptcy thing. Actually, no, it wasn't bankruptcy. It was a
foreclosure or something.
No, it wasn't so much that. The guy, I can't remember his name, but he went looking for this company on public court records for the state.
Right.
And it turns out that Wells Fargo had a claim against the family, or against them, for a $25,000 credit card debt.
Right, that's
what the GoFundMe was for. Now, someone actually did try to help when they found out about the whole business shutdown. It was King Crocodile.
King Crocodile, that's right.
Yeah. What he wanted to do is he wanted to set up a crowdfunding thing, and he would get the PayPal addresses of all the employees so that they could dole out equal payments to the employees as a way to help them, and Laughing Witch shut it down.
Because Laughing Witch didn't want to help her employees. Laughing Witch wanted to benefit from her own stupidity.
Yeah, and basically wanted to pay off this credit card debt. So if you're going to go after somebody online, two things. One, make damn sure you've got some kind of legitimate claim so that it'll stick. Yeah. And two, make damn sure you're not in the wrong.
Yeah, there's a piece about this I want to make sure that people at this point understand very clearly. When we're talking about people who are in the atheist, free thought arena, just call it that for a second, like Aaron Ra, like us, like Thunderfoot. How many times have you heard of these groups and more, Skeptic's Guide to the Universe, another perfect opportunity there. How many times have you heard about them, and I'm going to use the expression, preemptively striking at somebody?
Never.
No.
Now, admittedly, it's only us 8 who are here to say this. But, yeah, we hear a lot of stuff, but we aren't the definitive on this one. But how many times have we heard of these groups getting hit, and they're just scrambling, trying to go, whoa, wait a minute, what just happened? What happened? Who did I piss off? What did I do wrong? Only to be followed up with a wall of, well, here's our community guidelines. It could be anything here.
That's what they do.
It was actually a very expensive court case that they're having to fight over an article Steve Novella published on Science-Based Medicine, criticizing a snake oil merchant, basically. And it's cost them, I think, tens of thousands of dollars. But luckily, so they've got some resources and they've got a lot of support from the community. It was what's called a strategic lawsuit against public participation. Basically designed, a bullshit claim, just trying to shut people down. And there's a lot of states that are now putting in laws to prevent this. Means that if you waste everyone's time and money filing bullshit complaints, then you may end up having to pay your victims legal fees or other things on there, which could be considerable.
Yeah, if I remember right, the term for it was anti-SLAPP legislation.
Yeah.
And they had forwarded off sample letters that you could send off to your local legal people and say, hey, I'd like you to support this, please. Thank you very much. That'd be really nice.
Since you brought up the term SLAPP, too, that's another way that some of these people try to silence others, as what they call a SLAPP lawsuit. And Stephanie Guttormson was a target of that by that faith healer twit that she outed. And that was his purpose to do. And he got all blustery, and he filed one lawsuit, and that got he stopped that because of all the bad publicity he was getting. And then he came back and he started like a stupid website about warriors for God or some shit, and was, I'm going to take down all you atheists and blah, blah, blah. And like, that was it. Like, he threatened that he was going to refile against Stephanie, but as far as I know, he never did, and he's just a laughing stock now.
Probably because the lawyer he was talking with took one look at his case and went, really?
Yeah.
You actually want to do this? Are you nuts?
Yeah.
Now, Valerie Torrico, I'm not sure if you are all familiar with her or not.
The name sounds familiar.
Yeah, she's written a couple of books, Leaving the Fold and Trusting Doubt, and she writes some articles for Slate. But she had her webpage targeted and taken down because of multiple false, reports of, this is offending me, wah, wah, wah.
Yeah.
And her page was down for about 4 days before she could get it back up.
As far as I'm concerned, having something pulled down because it's, quote, offensive shouldn't be a choice. It should be, this has porn, or this is misleading, like something specific. But the choice of it's offensive should not be. I mean, when Facebook, I don't think they allow you anymore, but they used to allow you to close ads that appeared on your page. And so every once in a while I get like something, because of where I'd looked, I'd get something religious, or I know for a while, and I was kind of offended, actually, because I would get weight loss ones. I would actually select this is offensive if I got anything religious or weight loss related. But they don't let you do that anymore, I don't think. At least I haven't bothered lately.
Yeah,
but
see,
I could just...
I'd be offended if... No, I was going to say, I'd be offended if I was getting... If I could do that, I'd flag all those ads that I get for bigger breasts.
Yeah, there you go.
I wish there were some recourse that, that people on Facebook could take, or that if you were someone who made false allegations against certain pages and made mass reporting against pages, that they would do something to your account. That would seem fair.
I agree.
I agree.
I see that coming.
I think, false accusations, and I'm talking, malicious false. If you make an honest mistake about something, that's one thing, but if you're, I'm going to say this is offensive because I don't like it, blah, 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 then whatever the penalty is should happen to you when it's determined to be unfounded.
Yeah.
I think so. Or if it's, part of a concerted effort and you know that it's not legit.
Yeah.
Well, now, for YouTube, when I mentioned about a counterclaim, and again, I go back to our intro show notes because I've watched this Why People Laugh at Creationists several times, so I'm very familiar with Venom Fang X and all the things that he had done, and what had happened to him as a result.
Yeah.
He was found guilty of perjury, and he was given a choice: either you leave YouTube, or you issue an apology, stating that you understand that you messed up, that you did perjure yourself, and that alone would be enough for Thunderfoot to not press charges.
Yeah.
And he did it, but it didn't stop him. Within a year, he was right back at it again. There's actually, we can maybe put this in the show notes, there is one kind of a documentary, and for those of you listening in audio, I did use finger quotes. Don't judge me. It was called A Boy Named Sean. It's called A Boy. I think it's A Boy Named Sean or A Man Named Sean, which is the whole story of him against Thunderfoot and what eventually happened to him.
Yeah, let me fill in a little piece about this also. Instead of going through the legal channels, and this was part of the thing I went looking up, the apology, the admission of the malicious use of DMCA was part of the apology that went out there, which, to be honest, he recorded as the most not apology I have ever.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God! The whole time, and please forgive me, Dalan. I know that you're going to kill me for this later, but the whole time he was using one of these little gamer headset microphones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right up onto his face, so he sounded exactly like this, and it was really difficult to understand. It was a pain in the ass to listen to. He was constantly talking. Yeah. I have 2 pop filters on my microphone right now, and even with my face all the way up to the microphones like this, where my chin is actually bouncing right on the pop filter, it still sounds better than what he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was horrific. But anyway, the point of it was, that he put that out there. He intentionally recorded it the way that he did, which was an absolute FU finger to the whole thing. Yeah. Okay, I've got to go ahead and I've got to do this so that I don't have to spend $50,000 to defend myself, which I'm going to lose anyway. Fine. Here's what you want to hear. I don't care that it sounds like shit. And if memory serves, I couldn't follow it. I couldn't find it. But if I remembered correctly, he also agreed to stay off of Facebook, off of YouTube voluntarily for a year. I believe that was part of it.
I think that was something like that. Eventually, he did get shut down.
Yeah.
But rumor has it he's back.
Yeah.
He's under some new account. I use this term not as a pun, but it's kind of like a sock puppet account. because he's using a puppet to do his thing.
The amazing Sacco.
Yeah, there are some allegations about it that it actually is him, but nobody's really paying any attention to him anymore.
Yeah, and Pongo had also chimed in a little while ago about what I had said about how who's hitting first. Quote: Free thinkers / atheists et al. Tend to be more ethical and honest than the SJWs and theists. SJWs meaning social justice warriors. As far as the social justice warrior part of it all, I don't know. I don't care. To me, that whole thing is just so nebulous in my own head. I don't even deal with it because I don't understand it. I kind of do. I mostly don't. So I don't even deal with that.
Thank you. I'm just going to go on record and say thank you.
Yeah, but as far as to the theists who just say, I'm at the risk of perjury because who's going to go after me? You exist, ergo I'm going to blow a shit fit over you. Yes, I said shit twice today, 3 times. Well, shit. Damn it.
Here, let me help. There were two kind of bits to this that this is an equivalent of oh God, who was it? Henry Rollins, one of his stand-ups that he did. He was, talking as if he was confronting a religious guy, and he said the basic thing is when the theist punches you in the face, you've got your point across. And then the second one, I reference one of No Illusion's diatribes from the Scathing Atheist, where he says if you can debate a guy down to where all he can say is, well, Jesus, 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 you've basically won.
Yeah.
These false DMCA takedowns, these other ways of
bully tactics.
Bully tactics, but strategically preventing you from arguing or getting your point across. It's an extension of that. If you've got a DMCA takedown taken against you, it's a badge that you wear and say, that's basically a way of saying I nailed your ass.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you are scared of me because deep down I'm right.
And the only way that you can strike is to game the system.
Yeah.
And that's like when I get insults lobbied at me, when I'm doing a debate. I've done this for years. When I used to be in the old Yahoo group, it was email based, so we all had SIG files on our posts. And what I did was every time a theist called me something, I would take that and add it to this long string of insults on my SIG file, and I was like, woohoo, got another one.
You were one of those people.
Oh, I was.
Where the SIG file gets bigger than the frickin' message you're trying to get across.
Well, it never got quite that bad because they weren't that original. After about 20, they kept repeating themselves, and I was like, what? You don't have anything new? I already have that one. Come on, people.
See, no, but again, this kind of rolls into what I was talking about last week, where it gets to a point with a lot of these people. You could keep the arguments on recipe cards, keep them in your back pocket.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, you got that one? Okay. Oh, that's this one here. Yeah, okay. My counterclaim is this.
Yeah. That's what I do with some of the Islamic arguments that I've been making lately. In fact, if we ever get into the whole Aisha thing, I actually have a list of about 7 things where I'm like, okay, don't tell me this because that, don't tell me this because that, and don't tell me this one because this. And I just go through the whole list and be like, okay, if you've got anything other than these 7 things I've already debunked, let's hear it.
What was one? There was one I just read recently. I think it might have been on one of your posts.
Okay.
Where a guy said that you can't trust the English translations of the Quran because it's written by a guy who's against Islam already.
Yeah. Yeah. like, really?
You mean, like, even the versions that are stamped approved by...
Yeah, well...
but we don't use that anymore.
It doesn't matter. Like, I gets to the point where, like, one of the arguments I use,
Saudi Arabia or something like that, as a genuine.
One of the arguments I use has backup of the commentaries are called tafsir, and what they are is they're scholarly commentary that speak to a specific interpretation. And this one argument that I've been using a lot, I have 5 links to 5 different commentaries by 5 different scholars, and they're all the highest ranked of the scholars. And I trot this out on top of the support from the hadith, and then I get, oh, well, I don't follow that. Or, well, I don't listen to the hadith. Or, you know, oh, well, those aren't, I just follow the Quran. I'm like, well, the Quran supports what I said, buddy. Like, it just every number of excuse you can think of.
The no true imam fallacy.
Yeah, or that's not translated right. So then I have a link with 16 translations that say the exact same thing. I'm like, which one of these 16, you know, is wrong and why? You know, oh, well, it's this or that or the other thing. So
you know what, let me throw something for a second. Only because I think this is going to be really funny. Tech and Joey, let me throw something for both of you and see what you guys think of this. The idea that that was being said about, you know, get yourself a card of some kind and have the whatever the argument is, and on the backside put whatever the response is. What do you think about having like a keyring fob sized guys for these kinds of things, or maybe, you know, half an index card of heavy plastic on a keyring?
So you're referencing something like a Pantone fan?
Yeah, exactly that kind of thing. What do you think of that idea? And selling these at like cons, man.
Oh no.
What are you waving around, Tech?
Oh, I have this digital ebook. It's called the Atheist Ally.
But it's not nearly as much fun because you can't thwap somebody on the nose with it.
Well, the case that I have on my phone and the double reinforced layers of glass to protect the screen, which I accidentally tested the other day and worked very, very well. I can thwack somebody over the head with the phone and probably cause a concussion. Yeah, and my phone will still work. Unlike
we don't want to do that, Tech. We just want to give them a light little flap and say, "You're an idiot."
No. You don't understand. See, Shujin and I, we come from technology backgrounds, so we use the LART method, the Loser Attitude Readjustment Tool, also known as a clue-by-4.
Tech.
We invoke percussive maintenance to engage people's mental capacities.
Tech, I hate to use I hate to use argument of credibility here or whatever. College graduate, IT field. Before that, worked in copper smelter with sledgehammer. I know a little bit about percussion therapy. Okay.
Oh God!
Wait a minute, Chris. Go ahead and read it.
What's he got here? What's he got?
If you do decide to
Here's a church. Here's a steeple. Open the door, and there is blank. An argument with.
Richard. It's Chris's item. Go ahead, read it off.
Go ahead, buddy.
Okay, so I just thought that Cards Against Humanity would be a great format for this, for having the arguments and counterpoints on there. And one of the first images I got up was one that said on the question card, "Here is a church, here is the steeple, open the doors," and there is. And the answer someone's provided is an argument with Richard Dawkins.
Absolutely brilliant.
The only way it could have been better would have been if it was with Hitch.
Yeah, when I first looked at it, I thought it said Hitch. I'm like, oh no, it's Dawkins.
It's still great. It's still a great one.
It should just be open the doors and here is a Hitch slap.
We'll go for that. But Here's a piece about all this that we really need to hit on before we get done. This is unfair. No. This is unfair. What we're talking about, where people are gaming the system, where they are intentionally saying, yes, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to legally put my neck out there because who's going to go after me for the amount of money that is going to cost them? Nobody will go ahead and do it. It's the whole, why would you go ahead and take somebody to court when it's going to cost you more in the court fees to get back whatever you're going to get back? It's gaming the system. It's unfair, and it is disgusting because people keep doing it for exactly that reason.
Yeah. Except we bring into account the money involved in it.
Well, all right.
Hold on. Suggest that for YouTubers, some of them may have like 500,000 or more followers, and from the advert, they're making 100,000 a year type salaries. So if their site is off for channel's off for a month, that's getting into the territory where it may be financially worthwhile for them to put in a claim. All
right. Well, let me clarify this one a little bit further.
What is all this Christian persecution stuff?
Well, okay, yeah, that was kind of going to end up in there too. But what I was going to say was, it could be the monetary part. It could be the time involved, which is freaking annoying. Not to mention, you put that along with, if you need a lawyer, that ends up being a lot of time and energy and resources and, well, money, because maybe you got to track some bugger down. I'm using it wrong, I know, but I'm starting to get a little bit tired. But Brigid, you're right. Why is the Christian persecution complex operating the way that it is and feels that it has to cheat the system to get its way? I mean, isn't 80% almost of the population good enough?
Shouldn't you just be able to pray for it?
Well, losing privilege is a scary thing, and so they're going to fight tooth and nail to keep that privilege.
Ain't that the truth?
And it's also the fact that, and I think this goes back to what I said before, is that these people don't like to be wrong. Now, for instance, like my own sort of journey here, Shujin, it was a mutual friend or a mutual acquaintance of ours that actually knocked me out of the whole paradigm that I was in at the time. And basically, she called me on something. I did not like what she had to say. I spent quite a few days pissed off at her. Basically, how dare she call me how dare she think that she knows me better than I know myself? Ultimately, she was right. But that feeling, that how dare you? I can understand why people get pissed off the way they do, is because they don't like to be considered wrong.
Well, hold on a second. Now, and admittedly, you're right. I mean, even when we had Dr. Conway on, he said the same thing. Nobody wants to be felt of that they were made a fool of, and that kind of plays into that. But we're talking about even when you exist, you're an affront. Just your pure existence. I mean,
what's wrong with the question if you can answer to it?
No, you're right. What I'm saying is that it's a knee-jerk reaction. It's that initial feeling.
How dare you ask me?
Exactly. Yeah. It's that knee-jerk. It's that moment of actual visceral reaction to something like that. To suddenly
purely emotional.
Yeah, but nowadays.
Kick my puppy.
Yeah, don't kick my puppy. You kicked my puppy. You tarnished my reputation.
You called me the worst of things, and it would not stick if it wasn't applicable.
Yeah.
I mean, any rational person would be like that, no?
No, you're right.
And there is the problem.
Rational.
It's like people would fork over $75,000 to put up a marquee across the street from the American Atheist Convention.
Yeah.
Whoa, wait a minute. Fill me in on this. This is a piece I don't think I've heard.
Okay, when we had our last convention in Memphis last year, people forked over $75,000 to rent space across the street to put up a marquee opposed to the atheists.
Because we don't have an answer.
I'm serious.
No, I believe it.
Because we can shout louder than you do.
Jesus is Lord. They had to do that. $75,000 to do that.
And the person who put up that marquee and collected all that money was laughing his ass off afterwards.
I'm sure.
Well,
I'm sure.
Yeah, because he probably kept a sizable chunk of it.
I was just gonna say,
such an affront to even be there that they just had to make that statement. It was funny.
You stupid, we profit.
Yeah. And meanwhile, isn't there something in the Bible somewhere along the way that says if there's just one of you that believes truly, you can pray a mountain to move across the earth or some such?
When I
sure.
was a born-again Christian, the common phrase was a mustard seed of faith.
Mhm.
Because they got that from the fact that, like weeds and other plants and stuff can break through concrete and blacktop and everything else, starting out as a little seedling, that sort of thing. It just takes a little...
They had blacktop in first century.
No, I'm talking about the churches and youth groups.
okay. Those Romans were pretty good engineers.
Well, yeah, I mean, they were a little nuts. I mean, they did have all that, plumbium that they were working with.
Yeah. So,
Those crazy Romans.
There's Caligula sucking back a good Merlot going, hey, let's put black tar over there and have carriages drive over it.
Yes, we'll run all of our water through plumbium, and we'll call it Flint, Michigan. No, it's too soon.
Ouch!
Wow.
I'm sorry.
That's insane.
Whiplash.
Don't give me that sorry crap.
So we're in a front just because we exist. Because the questioning ability exists. And Pongo, yeah, you put the piece out there that I was trying to come up with before. It's not just unfair, it's unethical. How do we, other than just, as the expression is, living well is the best reward, or best revenge, I think is what it is, how do we put it across the ethical dilemma of why can't we just exist? Why must you attack us, who are a vast minority? No, that's not the right way of putting it. You get the idea of what I'm trying to put across here.
Yeah.
If we're such a, if we're
human survival, why can't I survive? That's it.
Because religion requires that
I
their
survive
followers don't
You
waver
have to
from their
survive
faith.
along my rules. That's it.
Yeah.
We're
It's
in
tribalism.
And you don't know how to survive. That's basically it. Religion is basically telling you don't know how to survive. And it's your job to prove that you do know how to survive. And that's it.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is there's no way that I would feel any temptation to complain to YouTube to get like flat earths or lunar bukkake sites or people proclaiming that not only that the moon landings were fake, but the moon itself is fake.
No.
People telling you how to survive, basically.
Or any other bullshit on there. Because I think by
comfortable.
Yeah. I was going to say I'm more than happy for these people to publicly make arseholes of themselves, and put out to the world that they're completely lunatic.
The basic rule is put it to the test.
Yeah. And I say, and if I could be bothered, as like people like Thunderfoot have done, people like Cool Hard Logic, and numerous, innumerable like YouTubers have done is put together well thought out commentary and response, and tell these people why they're wrong, and what actual reason shows. That's fine. That's part of a debate, but no
I would
one's
really like it if they got the context right, though, because the context, what basically the human emotional reaction to everything is survival instinct, and that's basically what we're reacting to. And that's what they're not answering to. They're trying to answer this question, but they're not really answering it directly.
Well, I mean, they obviously don't have any smart answers.
No, they don't.
On there, and so basically, what they're doing is making themselves look like bitches. On there by using these dirty, underhand tactics, and wasting everyone's time and effort on there, and it's petty schoolyard bullying on there, but it's it is really just whiny bitch moves that they're pulling.
It's an appeal to emotion.
Yeah.
Well, it's an appeal to it's abuse of a set of rules. It's gaming the system.
If I could lead into this, it's basically a lack of rationality. It's a lack of reality.
Yep.
No?
Yeah.
No, I'm willing to go with that. It's just that we're getting to a point where I'm basically kind of leaving it open for anybody and everybody to dogpile on this one at this point.
Yeah, kill me.
Because
if I'm wrong, go for it.
It is, but it is bullying, and it's a fear tactic too, because as a point was made, if what you're saying has merit, then you should be able to stand on the point on its own. And the fact that you have to resort to these things, it's a fear tactic, because you're like, oh, they're gonna find out that what I am trying to say is utter bullshit, so I have to do something to prevent the damage. So I better take.
It comes down to how dare you question me, because even if what you're questioning me with, if it sticks, then it's applicable. That's okay.
And it's how dare you question me, and so I'm going to get you before you get me, because I know you're probably going to get me, so I'm gonna strike it. It's like the cobra lashing out at you. They're puffing up their neck and waiting to strike because they're afraid.
Yeah, but again, it's emotional.
Well, it is, yeah, but that's what fear is. It's an irrational emotion for the most part.
So can we consider this the base?
Yeah.
Think about it. I mean, think about it. Think about what they say and think about your answer. That's it.
And yet, see, for me, and I'm not wrapping this up just yet. For me, the biggest problem of it is, like I said, it's the fact that we don't even have to question. Our very existence is seen as an affronting question in itself. Where that, like I said earlier, that we exist in the state that we do of disbelief is an affront in and of itself.
Well,
there's no way of... I'm sorry?
It should be a question. I mean, is it good for my existence? Whatever somebody else's. That's the whole point of communication. It's saying it's you're contributing something to somebody else's existence. Otherwise, you're either benefiting your own existence or contributing to somebody else's existence. It's the whole point of communication.
Right, and my point of it is, from earlier, is that even the fact that without communication, before communication has even begun, the fact that somebody can say, that guy over there in the red shirt on the screen right now. By the way, those of you that are listening right now, yes, I'm wearing a red shirt right now. Shut up. Yeah. I know.
He'll be the first to go.
Yeah, I'm wearing a red dress. Okay. So.
Yes,
she'll be the second to go.
That's great. That's just what I mean.
I could go get my real red shirt if you give me a minute.
I don't know if it's a short enough dress, you might get saved.
Yeah. I think I might actually.
If you can go,
we are great.
This is not okay. So the point of it is, if I did not say anything, but I was wearing a T-shirt with the Thinking Atheist logo on it, just not even the words, but just the logo, that would be the existence of that, even unto itself, without any statement whatsoever. The fact that it even exists is seen as threatening.
But you're underlining the point that I was trying to make, is that it's a visceral reaction. It's not coherent, it's not thought, it's not, we as humans are better than that. I mean, we can think, despite what religion tells us. We're perfectly capable of putting 2 and 2 together to saying that, it equals 4, not 5, as religion tells us. but yeah.
Yeah, the point that I'm trying to get at is, without wearing bulletproof vests all the time, what do we do? How do we stop that?
No, if you have to question, what are the bullets? It's what you consider a bullet. That's the weapon. It's not a bullet. It's you who are making it a bullet.
Filing falsely DMCA takedown notices and pulling somebody's perhaps livelihood down, I would consider that a fairly strong metaphorical bullet, wouldn't you?
I got to go with Shujin on that one.
Yeah, if you can cost someone their livelihood, yeah, you can hurt them.
Oh, if you're gonna react to somebody else's reaction, that's blackmail.
Yeah. Like we're talking,
but that's not reason. That is not reason.
No, we've never said it is. It's
Joey. We're talking about people who are having a visceral reaction and are reaching out and literally, or figuratively speaking, punching the person. But they're doing it through things like Digital Money Copyright Act takedowns and swatting and other actions. In this case,
supporters at a Trump rally.
Yeah.
In this case, their actions are to gather rally together a group of people of like-minded individuals to all use a reporting system, which, when used properly, is a good functioning system. But to abuse it, to cut that person off.
I don't agree, because that has nothing to do with rationality. That has to do with we have a bigger team.
Right. Now, stop right there. You're we're on the same we're on the same board right here.
Yeah, I know we are.
Where my question is to close this with is, how can we overcome this if the method of communication to convey better ideas, to garner better understanding, is itself poisonous? How do we get around that?
You have to change the method of communication. That's
How?
it. The accepted method is quote-unquote traditional, which is quote-unquote emotional. And it's exactly that you have to change.
I'd take Joseph more literally. I'd say for these kinds of things, particularly on the internet, people trying to censor you, is on YouTube, like I said earlier, people have backup channels on there so they can still get the message out. people are also publishing on multiple platforms on there. So on there, people are publishing on like Google Plus, on YouTube. On there, if it's an audio thing, it would be on their own website, on Stitcher, on Spreaker, on there. And so by spreading the message out, you make it available to the widest number of people possible, which is great for yourself on there, and it also decreases your vulnerability to some whiny bitch trying to shut down one platform because they can't shut down the message.
Is democracy. Because, I mean, if it's questionable, put it out there.
That's what I'm doing, is I'm describing a method for making sure it's out there and it stays out there. I mean, it's like the Egyptian government tried shutting off the internet on there. And they found people were able to use mobile and dial-up connections and all other kinds of things, and organisations around the world and people around the world assisted in getting that message out. So on there I was saying is specifically in the things, if you're doing the YouTube, make sure you've got backups of the videos, look into getting it out on other platforms as well, have backup channels,
and cite your sources.
Yeah, and cite your sources. Do put in disclaimers. Make sure it's a clear purpose is what you're doing, so that so you're not exposing yourself to legitimate complaints.
You know, the traditional method of communication is that, as soon as you say something, you're normally expected to be accepted on authority because you dared say something. But, it's no longer the case.
No. Anyone can say whatever they want, and if they publish it online, it's out there and people can respond later. And that's a lot of what
even Thunderfoot.
Yeah. Well, and actually,
I like a lot of what the guy has done. I don't necessarily agree with all of his positions.
Well, and that's actually another way too that some people try to censor others, is if they do put out what might be considered a controversial video or something, and they disable the comments, so that other people don't even have the ability to say, hey, I don't agree with that, or this point is an error, or where's your source for that. They don't even allow it.
Not only that, there's something that really annoys me, is that some people, they try to publish something and they try to state something as fact, and they try to say, oh, because I have more authority than you. And that's a purely emotional reaction from the viewer.
Yeah.
It's the viewer who's doing all the work.
Yeah, I mean, with the YouTube comment, it bugs me if I can't comment and I don't have that immediate response. On there, having seen the way YouTube comments go sometimes, I can entirely understand making an editorial decision to close comments. If you've had problems with massive numbers of trolls and you can't be bothered...
I suppose.
And you don't have time. If you've got, say, 100,000 followers, and you're getting a big problem with trolls,
I like trolls,
you won't necessarily have the time to to edit. edit or manage the comments on your last 50 videos.
But you don't need to though. Like a lot of YouTubers will just say, "Hey, your comments are welcome. I don't get time to read them all, but by all means say what you like or whatnot." Yeah. That happens a lot. And I mean, for me, now I don't really get many comments on my videos, which is too bad because I love trolls. I eat trolls. I love them. I would love to get trolls. I don't care.
They're crunchy with ketchup. They're crunchy with ketchup.
Yes, they are. Yeah, I mean,
they're crunchy on the outside, but all gooey in the middle.
Yeah, if I had 1,000 trolls, I'd pick out a select tasty morsels and munch on them.
Actually, I think they'd be more like the really cheap Easter treats that you get around that time of year. Got a real hard shell on the outside, but you open them up and they're frickin' hollow.
Yeah,
no
there's
substance.
That. Exactly. Or those stupid Halloween candies that are like toffee, but they're really nasty.
Oh, the kind I used to use to pull my teeth out when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Get a loose tooth, chomp on one of those, out it comes.
Yep.
Yeah. They do that with fillings as well.
If anybody wants to troll me, I'm more than happy to oblige. I love trolls.
Question me, please.
We're gonna talk later.
Yeah. By the way, Joey, you and Brigid haven't really had very much at this point that you guys have said. Is there anything you wanted to chime in and drop in at this point? Because I mean, we're getting pretty close in, and I'm somehow or other giving everybody individual time hasn't seemed like quite the way to go this time.
Hey, this is a organic show. It develops as it does.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Kind of like herpes.
Yeah, he went there.
He's just holding his head now.
Chew?
It could start as a cold sore. You don't even realize it. You kissing somebody, and all of a sudden, the next thing you know.
Chew.
Yeah.
What motivates you?
Go.
What do you want to say?
What motivates you? Herpes.
Child support.
You know what?
Never mind.
I'm gonna use that in a minute. All right. What about you, Bridge? I mean, yeah, you've had an opportunity, but I don't want to leave you guys out either.
As a nurse, what would you say?
Okay, so herpes bad. We get that. Okay, that's
about
fine.
herpes.
Don't kiss when you're having an outbreak. I'm assuming.
Take Vasaclavir.
I don't give a fuck. It's herpes.
I think there's a song about it. It's called Cipro No. 5 or something like that.
No, Cipro does not work against herpes, but Vasaclavir does wonders antiviral.
That's great. I'm also assuming that Trojan ends are not expected to be used.
If you want to write a song, I'll help you write it.
Okay. You did the rhythm, I'll do the bass.
Oh. Temptation.
I got a suggestion.
See, now you're talking about the rhythm, and now I'm going back to my Catholic days. This is really not going to be working out so good for me at this point.
Sorry.
I propose F minor, maybe.
How about F flat minor? Go with that. F flat minor.
We don't want to do anything with a minor. No.
Yeah, no minors.
No minors.
You know what they call women who practice the rhythm method? Yeah, moms.
Yeah.
That's how you get pregnant. Yeah.
That's one way.
I mean, this talk of herpes reminds me of Venom Fang X.
Come on.
No, let the man speak. I know where he's going on this one.
Yeah. Every time you get your hopes up that it's gone for good, he comes back.
And there it is. Exactly where I knew you were going. Well done.
25 years to get pregnant, and I can't.
Oh, holy cow.
Wow.
You're welcome. So, is there any last item before I go ahead and just close this out? Because yeah. Anybody?
I don't think so. I'm cracking up over here.
Deborah?
I'm good.
Oh, really?
You say that.
Albatross.
All right. So let me go ahead and close this really quickly then. Gaming the system bad, okay? All you need to do is just to play one game of Monopoly to find that out. It pisses everybody off and nobody wants to play with you anymore. More importantly, they will kick you out of the game. And if you go ahead and say, I'm going to hit somebody first when they don't know that it's coming, do you know what happens when you do that to somebody in public? You come up behind somebody and you donkey punch them in the back of the head. No warning, no nothing. They don't even know that you were there just because there he is.
If somebody tries to tell you the rules, question the rules. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't exactly what he was.
No, that's not where I'm going here.
Yeah, let the man finish.
Well, kinda.
Joey, or Joseph, go back to second on your.
What?
your non-herpes laced inhaler.
I was actually thinking he was going to go for some kind of reference to hot, black, and steaming, but okay, we'll talk about coffee later.
Oh,
For that.
Yeah. By the way,
wow.
Pastor Benny, how's that sale going for you out there?
Shit! I would have gone darker had I known that.
So here's the thing.
That's a reflection on you, sir.
Here's the thing. You run up behind somebody in society, you punch him in the back of the head just because. If you want to go ahead and say you should know what the rules are, okay, let's go with that for a second. The rules of society are you don't hit somebody first unless there's a good goddamned reason for it. Hitting somebody in the back of the head just because they are them is not a sufficiently good reason as far as society is
concerned. At the base, it was exactly what I was saying.
Yes, let me finish. The point is, when you break those agreed-upon rules, even the tacitly agreed-upon rules, you're gonna get retribution to a point you wouldn't expect because you think that you're above the law because you took it into your own hands because you thought you were good enough to. That guy...
The rules could be questioned.
Let me finish.
Sorry, sir. But...
Let me finish. You want us to be part of society? You don't want us to be part of society. Take your pick. Which one is it going to be? We don't care. We're part of that society. If that offends you, tough. We're here. Nothing's going to change on that. You might remember that there was a chant that went along for a while. We're here. We're queer. The point of it was we're not going anywhere. It's the same for them. It's the same for us. We're not going anywhere whether you like it or not.
I'm question you on an atheist show, but I mean, what you're demanding is basically we're the bigger team?
No.
No.
We have the bigger stick because we have the stick that says if you break the agreed upon societal rules, we get to hit you back and put you into your place. Because
yeah, but don't you see, the stick is where the problem is. It's resorting to the stick.
No, resorting to
it's responding. It's responding, Jose.
But it's responding emotionally.
No,
Joe,
it's not.
When somebody comes up behind you and punches you in the back of the head, what is your first response?
Why the fuck did you do that?
Okay. Now, what if they punch you again? Then what do? They didn't respond verbally to your question. They responded physically and with another punch to the head.
If they're not responding to reason?
Yes.
You call that a
That's
punch?
where the entire point is. I mean,
That is the entire point. Religious idiots don't respond to reason; they become violent.
Hold it. Wait a minute.
Yes.
Wait.
Okay, that's where the problem is.
Right. How do you stop them from being violent?
Okay,
Well,
Joseph.
Yeah.
If you're an American, you've seen how we act over here.
Yeah.
With violence. Okay. And irrationally. What do? Rationality is not going to work. What do?
Go away.
You can't go away.
Yeah, we can barely afford health care. How do we
What
gonna
do you
move?
You're putting me on that spot. I would
yourself there.
Basically.
Yeah, we're stuck on this planet. We can't leave. We can't go and find somewhere better.
You can't just reason your way out of this. What do, Joseph?
You're about to get your ass kicked.
Rational answer. So if you're able to think rationally, then you have absolutely no answer to whatever they're doing.
Sure you do.
But you have to do something. If someone's beating the shit out of you, you have to do something.
The only logical conclusion to this is kill them. That's it.
No. And you know what? Stop right here. I'm calling it right here. No, stop. No, I'm calling it. No, stop.
You're gonna stop at that. You're gonna go away.
No, stop. I am calling it now. I will mute if I need to, because I'm calling it right here. Here's why. You don't just have the option to kill them. In society, you have a tacitly agreed upon rule that you are in because you're part of that society.
Anybody rational would
shut up. I'm now muting you.
I'm agreeing with you.
I am now muting you because I said stop. I'm sorry. The point is, you have the option to take it to the highest power, which is not a bigger stick. It's a legal stick. You sanction them. You put them into a legally approved punishment. That's the point. And the problem is people have a hard time being able to follow through with that for whatever reason. And that's the problem that we run into. It's so much more effort to say, you did wrong and you need to be punished for it. We don't have the time and the resources to be able to follow up with that easily and appropriately. That's the problem that we run into, and that's something that we have all said we wish could be solved. But unfortunately, even if we were to go ahead and say, YouTube, you should be policing this better, or Facebook, you should be policing this better, and you should be punishing, they become the middleman in a big legal problem that we can't fix. And there is no good answer to this other than, boy, wouldn't it be nice to have...
there is a very good answer to this, and this is, people are trying to apply more and more pressure to the organisations and bodies and authorities in society, and you can include in that companies like Facebook, YouTube, through the campaigns to getting more anti-slap law legislation on file to prevent this and make it plain in society that this kind of whiny bitch behaviour of trying to shut people down because you don't like them is unacceptable.
Okay, we're going to stop it right there because I allowed you to go through because that was where I was going to end up anyway.
Sorry.
That's where we're going to close for tonight's show. Thank you all for being with us. And yeah, every once in a while things get a little contentious. This is what happens once in a while. It doesn't happen very often, but it's okay. And for anybody that is worried, no, I'm not personally peeved. I'm not even quote-unquote professionally peeved. These things happen once in a while, and...
This is exactly what's going to make people listen to the show. pretty.
Controversy.
So, you know.
Rick's wrong. A song about it.
It works.
Wait,
Somebody
somebody have Jerry Springer in the background so we can get some more ratings.
No, if we're getting anybody from Ohio to be on the show, it's gonna be Callie. Fuck y'all.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that another time.
And no food fights, please.
No.
Yeah,
No
I'll bring.
midget tossing.
Hey, Heretic Woman. I'll bring the cream
Yes.
pies.
Oh, fuck.
Great. Let's just go ahead and deal with Ezekiel on this. As always, everyone, thank you for being with us. Joseph, thank you very much for your time.
Coconut cream pie.
And you have yourself a good morning.
You too.
Chris, thank you for your time at this point. Have yourself a great day.
I will do. Thanks for being.
You
Thanks for having me on again.
Smug. Look at him. Look at the smug smile he's got now. Look at him.
Well, hey, just because he's got that wonderful sound because he found the right USB port.
No, he's got that smug smile because because he and Joe didn't get into it this time. It was me and Joe this time. That's why he's got that smile.
Awesome.
See how it is. Tech, thank you very much for your time. You take good care of yourself this morning. And welcome back.
Snozzberries.
Snozzberries it is.
Snozzberries.
Joey, thank you, of course, and just watch your fingers that you don't burn them. See how short that's getting at this point.
With the shit he's been through in his life, do you think being burned by a cigarette is actually going to bother him?
I
He'll be sitting there sizzling, going. Maybe like,
for those of you that are listening to the audio version of this in like 3015, I just got to say, the look on Joey's face when Shujin said that was freaking priceless.
You gotta go look it up on YouTube, man.
He kind of had that what you talking about, Willis look on him.
What you talking about?
Yeah, and now he has a look like, I know you're coming out here next week. I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, man. Brigid, thank you
I do
very
not
much.
kill. Name?
No.
Cripple? Maybe. Kill? No.
I'm already crippled.
Appreciate that. Brigid, thank you very much. Remind everybody, of course, how they can contact you, what they can read, and plug.
Sure. You can come read my blog at richfitch2112.wordpress.com.
Heretic Woman, thank you. You're going off to TO tomorrow, you said, eh?
Yeah, it's our monthly brunch we have. It's called the Unbelievable Brunch. So heading off at 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm getting picked up. Yay!
On the bright side, you can fall asleep in the car.
Exactly. I'm not driving, so I can sleep, and sleep's for wimps anyway. What the hell. But Monday on Beyond the Trailer Park, which is going to be at 9:30 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel, we are talking to author and comedian John D. Webster. So do come by and check us out. You can find us at beyondthetrailerpark.com because we have this snappy new website and stuff. So yes, and I am counting down. It is 6 weeks to Reason Rally. So excited.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Have a great time with all of everybody tomorrow.
Oh, I will, for sure.
Dalan, of course, thank you very much for your time, your contacts and everything, and you're also doing some stuff very shortly.
I am, yes. Of course, you can reach me by my, you can reach the audio version of this show at holycrapthevlogcast.com, which I really got to update this weekend. Also, my blog, Random Thoughts of a Virtual Tiger, at robotechtiger.tumblr.com. And as for what I'm going to be doing in the near future, next Saturday, April 30th, I will be in Regina, Saskatchewan, attending the Shift to Reason conference, which, for the first of its kind, has a huge list of heavy hitters. We're talking Seth Andrews, Aaron Raw, Matt Dillahunty, several others, all being hosted by the Brainstorm podcast, which comes from the same city. Sorry?
Bravo, sir.
Yes. My first skeptical convention. I'm really looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Yep. And we'll be looking forward to hearing all about that later. I myself am still working on and planning going down for Hickory, not this year, next year when it gets held again, because the intention is, as I've said before, I want to do it. I really do. It's going to be a little tough probably at that point, but be that as it may. I got some personal stuff that's going on. Follow me over on Facebook or Twitter. You'll be able to figure out a little bit further about that at Shujin Tribble. It's just the way it is. If you'd like to get in contact with us over here on the podcast side of it all, you can email us over at podcast@holycrapthevlogcast.com. All the links that you need for all the social media are there on holycrapthevlogcast.com, of course. And if you'd like to leave a voicemail message to be basically the first non-host to do it, you can send that over to 859-HCTV-554. Phone number again is 859-4288-554. We'll be looking forward to seeing you guys, so to speak, in the near future. At this point, I have no idea what the next topic is going to be. I got a couple of people who've been chiming in on like Twitter and such with a couple of ideas. I'm working through. I can't do that for another 7 episodes after. Maybe. We'll ooh, you know what? That's what we should do. We should plan ahead for the next Power of 10 and see about having Ms. Ashley out here to talk about the sex things that they talked about on that one show. You remember?
Well, week after this, we're talking about evolutionary sexuality with Rachel Nannon Brown on the show, too.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
Uh-huh.
Well, sex tends to be.
Wow.
So those of you that are listening to the audio part, Heretic Woman is showing her black pussy right now, and that's what's got everybody.
I am indeed.
Coming.
Now we know her true colors.
Yes, we do. And funny, the pussy actually matches the drapes, so that's good.
Yes.
Mine's blonde, but we're not going to.
And once again, I am not fixing this in post.
No, as well you should. But anyway, before we get out of here, though, there is one thing that I'd like to do before we get out. And Dalan, you may want to cut this in post, but if you guys would, I want to do a real quick thing for Scathing Atheist. They keep saying, do you have a thing for your show? Well, since we've got everybody here, really quickly, if we all would, I would like to have us all mute ourselves, and then one at a time, hi, I am blah, and we'll just put it together at the end so that we can all say we did in fact evolve from filthy monkey men, so that we can edit it together and send it off to them and get it on the air.
All right.
Okay.
Don't worry, this will go easy. Besides, it's already captured. So everybody mute out for a couple of seconds. We'll get you one at a time, and we'll do this way. Hi, I'm Shujin Tribble.
Hi, I'm Dalan.
Hi, I'm Heretic Woman.
Let's try that again.
Who's first? Hi, I'm Heretic Woman.
Hi, I'm Chris.
Hi, I'm Brigid Fitch.
Bonjour, je suis Joseph et on est évolué de salle en singe.
What in the hell did you just say? What part of just your name is good first?
He said the whole piece.
Hi, I'm Joe.
Здравствуйте. I'm Unrenowned Tech.
And here's where we can all do it together. If you're ready, 1, 2, 3. And we did
in fact that one's going to be fixed in post.
This is the song that
Guys,
so wait, hold on.
That's worth it.
Shujin,
let's try that again.
Put the lyrics up on screen, okay? Put the lyrics up on the screen.
I want to redo this.
Yeah, big time.
Okay. Yeah, what are...
It's supposed to say, and we did in fact evolve from filthy monkey men.
Okay.
Then take your stinking paws off me, you damn
dirty.
She
not
put
an
it.
animal.
She put it in chat. Everybody look in chat.
And we did in fact evolve from filthy monkey men.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna try this one more time because otherwise we're gonna keep the other one and we'll just tell them, you know what?
Okay, just for the record. Okay, just for the record, I got the names. I can take care of those. Now we need to do the rest of it.
Okay.
Okay.
So this should be good. Okay,
Brigid, muted.
No, she
Hi,
didn't find a
this
couple
is
seconds.
Brigid Bitch, and we did in fact evolve from filthy monkey men.
No, it's just the filthy monkey man part now.
And we did in fact evolve from filthy monkey men.
Well, we're gonna do
it together as a team. We're gonna attempt
we're gonna
this.
try this. This is gonna be fun.
Round 2.
Okay, this is for the take. You ready? And I know it's all gonna be all over the place, and that's fine. That's what I'm expecting. That's what we're gonna go with. You ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
And we did
That's what you get for free, Noah. Fuck you.
I could throw something in extra for free, but we're not X-rated.
Nope, that's it. That's a take right there. That's a take.
Okay, I'm putting that last piece in there, Shujin, that whole, that's what you get for free.
That's exactly right. That's
I am so including that.
Get what you pay for.
Exactly right.
This is, oh man.
This is going to be great. This is going to be beautiful. We're going to be so
My editing software is going to choke when it reads this.
He actually uses it.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. So,
Commentary from the sidelines, we are apparently a train wreck.
yes, we are.
I mean, yeah, there's nothing like high production values.
Exactly.
Oh,
So
while we're here,
we're still on air. You know that.
yeah. Oh, sorry. I'll wait.
Is this for on air or is this for off air?
Well, if it's about syphilis, it's probably for off air.
I'll wait till we're out there.
Fine. That can get us out of here. What?
Sorry.
No, you're not.
What we ought to do is have each of us do one word and do it in a chain.
Oh,
No.
Oh,
that's an idea.
yeah.
We're going to need to discuss the order first, are we? Or are we just going to pick a word?
No,
We'll do it sometime.
We'll
do it some other time.
You know, when they're really needing it really, really bad again, we'll see about that. Right now,
This one time at band camp,
no. I've been to band camp 3 times. Don't even start with me. Fucking waking up at 5:30 in the morning every day to Jimi Hendrix's version of the Star Spangled Banner is all well and good for the first day. Frickin' band camp. We'll talk about that another time. Meanwhile, we got to get out of here. Thank you very much for being with us. As always, I wish you all the peace I no longer have. I wish you the strength that I've learned. I wish you well, my wife. Coming up on 11 years. Mwah. I'm still in love, Matane Fujin. I love you and I miss you. Dream of me. We'll talk to you guys next week. Until that next time, good night.